Hey folks, Dude here, coming to you on another occasion of Dude After Dark. And this one is going to be a special occasion because this will be the second, and I do mean second time I have gone out, hit a store, read like Wally World, kind of went on a little bit of a beef binge, got some beef binging. And basically this was the second time I went to a Walmart and walked around completely mask-free, where everybody going, hey, you're not wearing some nose bra. So anyway, ran around the place. Nobody gave me a moment's, kind of interrogatory of, hey, dude, you can't do that. I didn't get anybody telling me anything I shouldn't be doing or anytime, or anybody screaming, just, yeah, there was no caca. No caca at all. No caca, okay? So we were fine. There was absolutely nobody running around going, hey, dude, you're not wearing a mask. There was none of that, okay? So anyway, I went in there and pretty much was doing my spiel, walking around, checking stuff out. And yes, obviously the sporting department, call it what you will, zero ammunition, okay? I mean, I do mean like zero ammunition, like scant pickings, like nothing, like nobody, nothing, not a round to be had. So anyway, looking at things as it is, let me jump on over here to my stack of stuff, to use their Sean Connery problems. I don't know why he always has that affectation. It's like, anytime you ever saw anything doing, anything Sean Connery, he always did the like he's trying to pronounce Stuttgart correctly, and he's a Scot. It's like, I don't know, dude. So anyway, that's the way things work on that one. And so looking at my stock of stuff, I can tell you for a fact it has been a very interesting news week. I mean, I got scads of memes up there, but yeah, there's also a lot of news stuff I've been throwing on there. This of course would be my Gab account. So gab.com/dude jerky 80s. So anyway, I've been having fun there, finding all kinds of good stuff to throw at them, and I've been having like way too much fun at their expense. So seeing the stuff as it is, I've been having a very, very good time finding news stories, throwing it at them, and seeing them positively, hopefully, pop their gaskets when they look at them and going, hey, you can't be saying that crap. Well, guess what? They're going to be saying that crap, and I'm going to keep throwing it at them. Okay, so if they don't like it, they can pound sand. Really, truly don't care if they have any disaffectations or, complete just losing their stuff. Really, truly don't give a crap. I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but it's now become known that CNN, and I talked about it last week, but man, CNN is losing their freaking they're losing everything, man. They're just crashing and burning, not looking good. Potentially they're seeing the ability for themselves to self-destruct. Why? Because they don't have Trump to bash anymore. So now truly it could be said that they have been rendered irrelevant. I mean, the other thing too is also when you have 24/7 of pretty much the same news story of, oh yeah, well, there's these other things that are really terrible about Republicans and this and the other thing, and it's pretty much not even the Republicans running things. They are seen as invalidated because their guys are the ones doing it. So also that core group of, what was it, 25 to 45 or something, they really don't watch cable news, man. Most of the time, those guys are going, let's go out and get some girls. Let's go out and drink something. Let's go out and get something to eat. Let's go play Xbox. They're pretty much doing other stuff. Patriot Fever, appreciate you coming on by. Dude, I did not forget about you. I am just all kind of busy. So this will be going out fairly shortly, okay? Don't even worry about that one. I got your information with our Gmail conversation there. It will be going out as soon as possible. I just got a lot of stuff coming down the pike at me right now. So anyway, looking at things as it is, the news stories have been very, very interesting. There's been a lot of people posting up pictures that could be said as memes, but let's just put this in perspective, okay? This is not This is not storage medium for gasoline, okay? If you see some doofus at a gas station pumping gas into a garbage bag, translation grocery bag, if they do that, you might want to get away from them because they're pretty much, well, yeah, they're heading that way, okay? So anyway, looking at things as it is, when they do that kind of idiocy, you're talking about just idiocy on a high level of where they're really going to just blow themselves to kingdom come. And you don't want to be around for that one because it's going to go bad really shortly, okay? Gasoline, besides being a motor fuel, is a really dandy solvent, and it tends to eat some plastics alive. The alcohol in, well, gasoline now, because you have 5 to 10% of the stuff, ethanol is a very, very good solvent. So, could be said that you're pretty much lining yourself up for getting, well, a heck of a big freaking kablooey if you, well, and never mind the fact you have a bag of this stuff or a box of this stuff or an open container of this stuff in your car and you're going and lighting a cigarette in your vehicle. Oh, my stars and garters, you are positively going to wind up in orbit. Mostly because gasoline is a really good motor fuel because it's easy to ignite. Holy crap. I mean, some of these pictures I've been seeing, like the guys who take like, the was it like 250 or very large cube containers that were food grade polyethylene, and they're converting those over into fuel canisters. Now, there's a couple problems with that. Number one, it's not placarded to be carrying in motor transport for motor fuel. Number two, it is a situation where plastic can generate a static charge. Number three, it might not hold up to being filled full of petrochemicals and will slowly dissolve. Oh, yeah. There's another thing these guys really tend to not even think about. This is not your grandfather's gasoline. Gasoline goes bad within 3 to 6 months because of all the ethanol content. It will suck up water vapor. It will become hygroscopic. It also will break down because it's not intended for long store usage. It is not the same stuff as the gasoline from not even 10 or 15 years ago. It is basically fairly not great stuff technologically. Oh yeah, it runs great in modern cars because it's built to have all those modern componentries happy with each other because the stuff going through makes everything breathe out correctly and spit it out the tailpipe correctly to be the cleanest burn you possibly can get. Is it the best motor fuel? Well, in a long view, no. Not even if you're dumping in tons of fuel stabilizer. If you're going to store gasoline, you do not store summer gas. You store winter formulation. Mostly because it has some of the higher volatiles in it for easier starting in cold weather. That's the stuff you want to keep around, okay? Summer stuff is loaded up with ethanol. Oh, yeah, because, wow, ethanol also comprises some water content and will freeze your stuff up in the wintertime. The winter gas is what you want to store, not the summer gas. Now, the other thing, too, is also the gas stations, gas proprietors, even the guys who make the gas, they don't tell you when they're switching from one to the other, okay? I would say anytime it's cold enough out, you want to get the winter gas, all right? That's the stuff you want to store. You do not wish to store the summer fuel. At best, you want to use that stuff up in the course of maybe like 4 to 6 months max. Throw that thing in the tank in a mixed load of gas. Not the only thing in the tank, but get it out the tailpipe. Switch it up for a new load of gasoline. Now, that was the other thing, too, is everybody was kirking out about the pipeline and all the rest of that stuff. Baltimore really wasn't that affected by any fuel shortages, mostly because we're also, really close to the coast. So, potentially, we also have, large gas farms here. Yeah, we actually have a lot of gas farms, not really far from my place of residence. Orange, you're getting on my nerves, dude. Bye. He keeps climbing over here and just kind of doing that beatific smile thing. It's like, just go away, dude. Stop. So anyway, we have a lot of gas farms here in Baltimore because there's a lot of gas going up and down 95 that we tend to ship out from here. Now he's playing with a cardboard tube. Whatever. All right. So anyway, we weren't really truly affected hugely by that, gas pipeline hack of which they paid. They paid for it. $5 million they paid for it to get the gas pipeline working again. But we weren't grossly affected by that stuff in Baltimore. Gas prices went up 10, maybe 15 cents a gallon. I think we're now like regular gas is like $2.99.9. So it's $3 a gallon. Mrs. Dude was like, yeah, I got a 15-gallon tank. It's $45 to fill it up. So she's not a happy camper, man, because she has a fairly long commute to and from work and goes through a fuel tanks of gas per week. So it's costing us a little bit more for her to daily drive. Obviously, I do, any number of mileage per day of, doing Uber/Lyft. But I build that into the cost of me doing business. I know at least a third of my income daily is pretty much going out the tailpipe. It's just the cost of doing business. You look at anybody that operates any kind of business using, a wheeled vehicle, at least the largest expense that you're going to put out the tailpipe will, of course, be not just time and effort, but will be the motor fuel. So anyway, looking at all that stuff and, looking at things as it is affected, the gas prices should rectify and they should equalize a little bit. But, gas always goes up in the summertime. I mean, it's one of those prerequisite things where they're like, oh, yeah, they're going to be so busy in the summertime and gasoline's going to become so dear that we have to increase the fuel prices because, that new formulation is so much more expensive than the old formulation. So comprising all the time and effort it takes us to pull the gas and cook the gas and cook the gas and make it into something different, we now have to charge you more because the gas is, so much different than the Winterland. Patriot Review says, $1.50 to fill my tank twice per week. Thanks, Darth Turnip Brains. Wow. He also said the candidates for the Darwin's Awards, the guys are basically, getting a bag of gas. I've been seeing like other guys doing like almost like the drug dealer bag. Hey, man, I'll hook you up with a bag of regular, but it ain't gonna go cheap. They get the little bags that have like a zip tie on them of like basically gasoline. They'll hook you up. So let's see. Scrolly. There is something really sketch about a lot of the reporting going on about like, any of the vaccination stuff going on. This was coming from somebody in Canada. Said, hey guys, stepson works for one of the conservative federal MPs in Canada. They got a call today from a family whose mother got the AstraZeneca vaccine, wasn't feeling well afterwards, called the family doctor, told her it's just side effects and she'd be fine. She passed on that night. The family wants an autopsy and they were told no. So the MP, and I think that's going to be like one of the local, governors or something. I forget how they actually phrase that. Did some investigation. Turns out the federal liberals put out the directive: no autopsies are to be done related to vaccine deaths. Wow. So Canada is like, let's cook the books so it doesn't look bad for us. Patriot Fever. What happened to the prices on siphon hoses? I don't know, dude, but there was a picture of this one guy, and I cannot do this justice. The guy was siphoning a cop car and then posted the pictures on Facebook. It's like, okay, this is not going to take a great amount of investigation to figure out, hey, this car is low on fuel. Oh, it was in that area. Oh, this is the doofus that pulled it. So yeah, he pretty much set himself up when he did that status update. He pretty much boned himself. I cannot do this justice. Stupid people doing stupid things and then making public notice about it. These are the guys who really pretty much bring these things upon themselves. All right. So anyway, scrolly. I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but this news story, oh my stars and garters, I cannot do this justice. But supposedly there's a couple stories going on where pretty much the Israelis are doing some seriously hellaciously effective stuff. One of the things they did was right off the bat, they killed Hamas commander Ayad Faik. So anyway, what happened is this guy pretty much had himself hidden out in one of the buildings and they just dropped the building on him. I mean, there was just an anti-tank missile unit dropped the building on him, and that was posted up on May 11 at 11:57 a.m. So you got to figure the time difference over there. They zapped him like early in the morning. Like, dude, we nailed you hardcore. Then there was another one that the Israelis did, and this is military genius at the highest level, using a little bit of smarts here to make the other guys do that something that really sets them up for hard failure. The Israelis lined up some of their tank units, and then they lined up some of the infantry units, and they put them on the border of Gaza to say, okay, these guys are going to come charging in, man. They're going to come in here. They're going to really lay the hurt on you on the ground level of attack. So what they did was, by doing that, the guys over in, Hamas said, hey, let's load up all the tunnels. And then when these just ridiculous numbers of Jews come in, we'll take them on. We'll basically smack them silly, and they will show themselves to be targets of opportunity, and we will just wipe them the hell out. Well, slight problem. The Israelis really don't do stuff unless they really truly intend to set up the other guy, or they're utilizing technology that puts them in much better stead. You got to do the math. I mean, it's like, what, 6 to 8 million Jews versus 60 to 120 million Arabs. Do the math. They have to win, okay? They're like, the little guy in the fight has to kill you, because he knows if he doesn't, he will get his butt kicked all over the place. Well, same thing with the Israelis. So what they did was they knew by ground mapping radar where all these tunnels were. So the Hamas guys loaded up the tunnels. The Israelis proceeded to send over a whole bunch of jets and dropped like 40 tons, or was it 80 tons? But I think it was like 140 separate missions, and proceeded to flatten the tunnels and drop it on top of all the Hamas fighters. So by merely putting on the projection of, yeah, man, we're coming in here to kick your butt, they made them line these guys up in basically a buffer situation to say, yep, these are now targets of opportunity. And the Israelis proceeded to just kick their dicks in the dirt. It was not even pretty to hear about, but that's the kind of stuff that they will do. I don't know if you guys have seen this or not, but this is going to be one of those situations. Hang on a second. Let me put this thing on aircraft because it keeps like checking in. It drives me nuts. It's been really funny to see these really unhappy liberals about gas prices. It's like, you're the guys who elected the guy that did this stuff to give you high gas prices. The memes are just they're just absolutely on point, brutal, just ripping satire, and just I cannot do them justice. Some of the ones I just really can't translate very well. Okay, I just can't. I don't know if you guys heard about this news story or not, but there was an Indian health ambassador and former comedian. Hang on a second. Let me open up the link here. Hopefully it works. The guy's name is Vivek. Hang on a second here. Former comedian Vivek. Hang on a second. I love these little stupid pop-ups. Oh, yeah, check us out. And the guy's name is Vivekh. Vivek or whatever. But anyway, he was a former actor and health ambassador for the Indian state of Tamil Nadu, died 2 days after receiving a COVID-19 vaccine dose earlier this month. The well-known actor and comedian was admitted to the local hospital on April 16th for cardiac arrest after being vaccinated with Covaxin, an Indian coronavirus vaccine, the day prior. The 59-year-old was brought to the hospital unconscious, underwent coronary angiogram and angioplasty before his death the following morning. Great Game India reported. The hospital said Vivek suffered acute coronary syndrome with cardiogenic shock and 100% blockage of a blood vessel. Wow. And here's the thing that really, truly is kind of crazy is the actor took his first dose of Covaxin on Thursday at a televised event at the health secretary of Tamil Nadu to encourage vaccination. Oops. So this guy's showing off. Hey, man, I got the shot. You should too. Oh, my stars and garters. Holy snap. Wow. I don't know why this possessed somebody to come up with the mind-numbed idiocy to do this one, but And I cannot do this one justice. This one's posting up on May 10, 2021. I cannot do this justice. But supposedly Remington has reopened the upstate New York gun factory in Ilion, New York, which is I-L-I-L-O. It's like Ilion. It's like, it's actually how it's said, but you look at it written out and it's like dot, and it's like slash, where you basically have to like figure out which letters, which one, but it is Ilion. Ilion, New York. The Remington Art Factory in Herkimer County village of Ilion has reopened 8 months after its previous owner closed the plant and laid off more than 700 workers. Richmond Italia, the managing partner for Rem Arms owner Round Hill Group LLC, sent an email this morning that the company has called back 230 workers to the factory with plans of starting production with the Model 870 shotgun line, according to the Times Telegraph. Okay, the 870 is really selling that hot? I don't know. I think the TAC 13s are kind of selling pretty good, but I don't know if anybody's really making a rush to say, yeah, man, I got to get that pump 12. Most of the time I hear people talking about 12-gauge pumps. Usually they're saying like Mossberg or, they're saying like other brands. They're not really like knocking the doors down for Remington, but I guess they figure it's worth it. I would have said, you know what, any state but New York. And, yes, it's got historic legacy. Yes, it's an old factory. Yes, the former employees are seeking to rebuild the old glory. But it's New York. Why the blank would you go back to New York? Why? They really, truly are anti-gun. Any tax revenue that you raise will be used against firearms ownership. And potentially, anytime that you enable these liberals by giving them your hard won, they are feeling cocky about it. Yeah. The reopening comes a little bit more after a month after the union announced it had reached an agreement with Round Hill that recognizes the union as hourly employees collective bargaining unit when they return to work, establishes a recall process for more Remington workers to be called back, and sets up a 60-day time frame for the parties to begin negotiating a full labor contract. Translation: we're not paying you union wages. You're getting paid hourly until we make this thing profitable. If you don't like it, don't come back. Round Hill said it hopes to hire back hundreds more workers as it ramps up firearms production in Ilion. Remington's previous owner fired from his organization under Chapter 11 of the U.S. Bankruptcy Code last year after suffering falling sales. So they're going to go back and they're making the same stuff. Round Hill purchased the gun factory in fall for $13 million in a sale, supervised by the U.S. Bankruptcy Court judge in Alabama. So they're going to go back to making the same stuff that they were before. The biggest question I have is, hopefully, are they going to improve the quality? Because I've heard a lot of people complaining that Remington's QC, read like quality control, had slipped markedly. Like, these union guys were just pretty much like, yeah, whatever, slip, slap, boom, 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 out the friggin' door. They really, truly didn't have, like, the hands-on, old school, old world means of producing something that you basically picked up and you're like, yeah, that's good, yeah. But I can say for a fact, the difference between most American weapons that I've put my hands on and the difference between a CZ is markedly, it's night and day. I mean, I've picked up like the CZ carbine chambered in 7.62 by 3.9, which is a short receiver carbine. There's chambered in, I believe they're chambered in 7.62 by 3.9, 223/556, and they're just a handy little carbine. And the coolest thing about it is, yes, it's a bolt gun, but you take the trigger and you push on the back of the trigger, it becomes a set trigger. So you've lost that 3 pounds and it's gone down to maybe like 12 ounces. But if you look at this thing from top to bottom and, basically give it a good, eyeball on, the wood to metal finish looks like the kind of stuff you used to see about 75 to 100 years ago. It is just that nicely done. That kind of hands-on stuff you don't see with modern firearms. I mean, most of the guns you pick up nowadays and you look at it and the wood's just kind of on there. It's not like, really pretty or anything. Looks like it was done okay, good enough to go out the door. Does it shoot okay? Yeah, that's really all we need to worry about. But that last little eat to give it, the final little eat to make it just nice, they don't seem to do real good. Patriot Fever in the room says, liberal state getting employed by a gun manufacturer. How ironic. Well, the problem is their Patriot Fever is upstate New York used to be known hugely for being in part of the Rust Belt. There was tons of steel industry. There was tons of other just mechanized industry, tons of stuff being made. And yes, there was a lot of gun manufacturers in upstate New York. Also, like New Hampshire, Massachusetts, all those, northern areas, because it is close to the Great Lakes, which was a marvelous place to bring steel in and out. You're going across one lake to the other. You have the foundry on one side. You have the other stuff on the other side. I mean, I can even tell you from down south, where I am, there's an area called Sparrows Point. Sparrows Point was one of the major steel mills in the United States. As a matter of fact, most of your World War II warships were built from the steel coming out of Sparrows Point. Where is Sparrows Point now? Well, it was being used by a Russian company for zinc plating fences, and then it fell to disrepair, and then pretty much just got knocked down. Right now, it's probably a super fun site of areas where you probably don't want to walk too much because there's all kinds of icky, nasty stuff left over from when people 100 years ago would go, yeah, this is just crap. We don't need to worry about it. Just dumped it out. But that area is just historically one of the major steel mill areas of the United States. Where's our steel coming from now? Well, we ship off the old stuff. The Chinese melt it and make it into, quote unquote, new steel. Yeah, well, they chased off the steel industry from the United States because it's better to have a dirty industry on the other side of the planet versus here at home. Pedro Fever says, debating another AR-15 or an M14. Well, why don't you split the difference and just build an AR-10? That way you have AR-15 componentry, about 85%, and you have the same kind of straight line stock construction, recoil negation, target acquisition, all the rest of that good stuff. And it basically is in 6.5 or 308 or, any of those other spiffy little calibers is a longer action. M14, I have an M14. As a matter of fact, I have an M14 and an AR-10 and multiple AR-15s. The M14 would not be the first weapon I grab. There's many technical issues. You can look on the Forgotten Weapons MUD comparison. The AR-10 and AR-15 make the AK-47 and the M14 not look very, very good. And there's a reason why. It's because closed versus open style construction. Yes, metal and wood is pretty, but it is not the best thing in the real world opportunity of ingress of crud. AR-15s and AR-10s, they do a lot better in the long run. They really, truly do. I would tend to think if you're going to do it right, split the difference, just build an AR-10. Problem solved. Let's see. Scrolly. This was a meme, and I can translate this one. This one cracked me up. Gas can roulette. Leave a gas can on the porch full of water and sugar. Let the thieves take the gamble as to whether it's going to run their car or plug up everything. That one tickled me. That one really, truly tickled me. The other one, you see the guy with a bunch of food grade 55-gallon drums in the back of his pickup truck. Buys 2 years worth of gasoline. Doesn't realize it goes bad in 3 months. I cannot do some of this stuff justice. And then, of course, there's all the, the various meme and mask stuff and everything. But I cannot do this one. This one was absolutely poetic justice for Liz Cheney snapping off at Trump. I'll do everything I can to ensure the former president never gets anywhere near the Oval Office. Never again gets anywhere near the Oval Office. And she just got drummed out of her leadership position. I would tend to think that Liz Cheney probably shouldn't run for re-election. I'm tending to think that pretty much they booted her rhino ass out and her political career is just going down the drain because she did it to herself. Patriot Fever, I hear about the one where the chick put diesel in her Prius. Well, if you think about it, that actually should be almost impossible, mostly because a diesel nozzle and a gasoline nozzle, they're different sizes, okay? Like the diesel nozzle is physically larger than a gasoline nozzle. So the only way she could obviously make that work is if she was just squirting it around the hole and hopefully, most of it didn't spray everywhere, but she got some in there. I don't know how she managed to do that unless she really was just like porn started in there. Porn started into the filler neck. I guess the only way I can think of that she made that one go. But you know what? She did it to herself. Enjoy. That means pretty much they have to either completely flush the fuel system, change out all the fuel filters, pull the tank, flush the tank, blow out all the injectors, blow out all the rest of that recirculated stuff, because most of your cars have either two styles of fuel system. It is either a open loop or it is a closed loop. An open loop blows the gas to the injectors. Whatever gas doesn't get used circulates back to the fuel tank. My old Datsun used to be like that. It would literally circulate the fuel around in the fuel tank, basically adding fuel, taking away fuel, making fuel happy. Whenever it needs it, it basically runs it through the injectors. If it doesn't utilize it all, it just circulates back to the tank. The closed loop literally pumps from the tank to the injectors, and there's a fuel pump regulator that says more gas, less gas, stop pumping, and your gas pump, read like in the tank, will either cycle on and off, or it'll just basically just keep spooching the gas back into the tank and repressurize the fuel line when the fuel line needs to be pressurized, all good stuff like that there. But all, literally, from the front of the car to the back of the car, all that needs to be purged, cleaned out, and it's probably going to run kind of crappy for a little while until the rest of that residue gets blown out. Because if you think about it, diesel actually is an octane lowering agent. It's not nearly as volatile. It really doesn't like to burn under anything but compression rather than combustion. And I tend to think she pretty much did it to herself. Page Reviewer says she needs a new motor now. Oh, jeez. I did hear about the one guy where he's a YouTube guy, and he decided to see what happens if he put nitrous into a Toyota Prius. And literally, it was like he's driving along, and basically that high-powered roller skate sound that it makes. And then he hit the nitrous button, and it went pow! I mean, literally, the engine just grenaded, gone, like pieces of it. Just everything rattling down to a stop. And he was like, put, dead. Dawson Warner in the room. Thank you for coming by, dude. Her gas station ran out of gas and thought diesel just made your vehicle louder. Oh, man. Or there's the other one, too, is also she was looking at the gas pump colors, and the green was for diesel and the yellow was for gasoline, and she was more of a green person than a yellow person, so she figured she would just put the green gas in the green car. Wow. Holy crap. Oh, man. Not the sharpest knife in the drawer, folks. Just give me 1 second here. And I'm happy to say, post-COVID, my sense of taste and smell is slowly returning. I mean, it's still about like 50%, 75%. It lasts a little bit. I want back, man, because I want to be able to smell and taste everything. Knock, knock, knock goes Prius. Knock, knock. Who's there? Prius. Hey, how you doing there, Prius? No, I'm dead. I blew my motor. Let's see. Scrolly. Let's see. Yeah, this one's good. As blue as Virginia has gone, because they used to be a fairly solid red state. Then they went purple. Then they went blue. They're now completely shocked when gasoline prices hit $7 a gallon in Virginia. They're shocked. They have no idea how this possibly could have happened, other than they simply just voted for, they voted for him. So it was a case of, they voted for Joe. And it's a case of when you vote for Joe, you get what you get, okay? You're going to get Joe. Joe's going to add those things that just make everything just.
But I moved from there.
Yeah, you're definitely going to feel that one, okay? You're definitely going to feel it, okay? There's no way around it. It's just going to be bad because he's around screwing up things, and he is. That's right, Mr. That's right, Joe. Because I refuse to call him Joe Biden. He's Joe That's right. That's right. When you put an idiot liberal into office, nothing works correctly. Sorry. That's just how things work in the real world. When you institute something that changes all the dynamics, changes the baseline parameters, guess what? Things are going to change. Oopsie. You did it to yourselves, stupid liberals. That's right. Enjoy the high gas prices. Why? Because you also pay a lot of money to live in Virginia. You also pay a lot of taxes to live in Virginia. There's way too many people there. The roads are insufficient. The traffic just freaking sucks. Yeah, I know. Man, anytime I drive around Virginia, I want to get the hell out of Dodge after about 5 o'clock. I don't want to be anywhere on the Virginia side of things. I want to be rolling north, getting out of Dodge, going back to my burg, because I know I'm going to be going against traffic. They're going to be going this way. I'm going to be going that way. Wow. Oh, my stars and garters. I cannot begin to tell you just how badly they did it to themselves, but they do it to themselves. Now, I don't know if you guys have seen this or not, but you know, like those assistance animals, or my support animal. Did you know that there is no state in the union that requires a dog to have a carry permit? So, you might be not licensed to carry a weapon, but the dog does not require a license to carry a weapon. So, if you wish to have a pistol on your dog's person, that is completely, absolutely, and just not even restricted in the slightest. Your dog's allowed to carry. They don't need to have a permit either. Let's see. Oh, it's 4 cock. I hope 4 cocos for saying show. Okay. Okay, I think we're good, all right? I think I got it enough cocos, right? Well, I didn't say his name again, and I'm allowed to. Only in combination. Okay, so anyway, looking at stuff. Let me get back out of this page. Scroll. I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but there was a meme floating around, and it was this really, like, somebody just took a bed sheet off their college bed and was painting on there, "Queers for Palestine." It was like the USYD Queer Action Collective, and there was like a rainbow flag with a fist, and they're all like, I can't even do it justice, but the one person that's on the end is like, like, how can you, I don't know how you can, okay, you can limp wrist, that's how they do it. They're limp wristing a fist. That's the show of power that they have. They're limp wristing a fist. I'm sorry, I'm not even gay enough to do it, but they're like limp wristing a fist, holding up the thing, like, "We are standing in solidarity with our queer brothers in Palestine." Bad news for you, okay? If you go to the Arab world and you tend to be homosexual and you say that you're homosexual and you institute yourself as, well, the really hardcore homosexual, guess what? You're not going to do real good, because they're going to simply go, You're not even an infidel. You are gay. We will have problems with you. We will take you to the highest building and... No, that's the wrong one, sound guy. I don't like that one. No, that's not it. This one. Okay. You'll take you to the highest building. Yeah, and they're gonna just... And then when they get done with that, they might just pick you up again and bounce you around a few times. Because homosexuals don't do good in the Arab world. Women don't do good in the Arab world. Dogs don't do good in the Arab world. Could be safe to say that pretty much just, they're not real charitable to people of different societal norms. Yeah. But anyway, what I said was, I think these guys are thinking that Arabs will meet them with open arms and say, "Yay, gay socialist liberals. Yay, there are guys." They never read a news report where gays were unceremoniously chucked off a high building to splat like crap from a cow's butt upon the ground, beneath them. And I got to tell you what, man, the picture that I posted up, They are the most just cannon fodder looking bullet sponges I've ever seen in my life. It's like if these guys ever went there, oh my stars and garters, they would just be just. You know, that's literally right here is just. Yeah, that's all you would hear. That'd be the last sound going through their stupid brains before, well, their asses went through their brains. Their brains went through their asses. I don't know, man, but I've seen not a lot of videos, but I've seen some videos where you literally see the homosexual take it to the top of the building and unceremoniously just, there's not even like any great amount of just, conversation. It's like, you're gay. Whoop. It's they don't do good in that world. Trust me. Could be said they really don't do good in, the Latin cultures either. I mean, I've seen like a jail that was in, I forget which country it was, but literally the jail was like almost like political prisoner kind of stuff. And they'd set up their own cultures. The homosexuals were forced to live on the roof of the building, mostly because if they try to invade themselves and the rest of society, they would just get shot because the prisoners had guns. Donna Rosie, appreciate you coming on by, dude. Oh, man. But, yeah, homosexuals saying that they're for Palestine, got bad news for you, dude. You're not going to do good in the Arab world, okay? They don't like you. They really, truly don't like you. I mean, besides being an infidel, the fact that you're a fudge packer or a carpet muncher or any other phrase therein that I could use to be diminutive without getting banned, blocked, or whatever, you guys don't do well in that culture, okay? Deal. Sorry. It is what it is. Let's see. Scrolly. There's a meme I posted. I love this meme. It's been floating around for a while, and it's a gas gauge with the Biden-Harris election, monikers, and it's the arrow is pointing from the F to the E in Biden. It's just absolutely perfect. I don't know who came up with that meme, but it's been floating around, and everybody's starting to share it now. It's just great. I don't know if you guys have seen this or not, but there's now woke. Oh God, this is going to be bad, folks. Woke Army recruitment videos, and the one that is the I'm private so and so or corporal so and so. The chick. It's like I grew up with a mom who married another mom who went through like paralyzation and got back to this. These strong women made me stridently able to join up in the military and have my own adventures and this, that, the other thing. And it looks like a Disney movie. I really, truly cannot do it justice. But it is a woke Toonami Disney movie Army recruiting video. You know what, folks? I suspect the U.S. military is going to have a seriously dry-ass 4 years trying to scare up enough dumbasses to fight for the dumbasses in the White House. And if they try for a draft in that time period, guess what? They're not going to do good. Because the last guys that throw a draft at us, oh yeah, Democrats. Amazing. I don't know why these things go so circular where the Democrats get us into wars, the Republicans have to get us out of wars, and then the Democrats volunteer for everybody else's kids to go overseas and get their asses shot off. Yeah. Delana Rosie, Biden equals check engine soon light. Yeah. Well, actually, no, it's even worse than that. It's not like the light comes on. It's like the light's blinking like, hey, man, I'm about to go nuclear. You better stop now. I'm about to go nuclear. This meme had me in tears. I don't know if you guys want to do this or not, but if you get one of those Tyvek lab suits, it was this. I got bored. It was like the guy's wearing like gloves and the Tyvek suit. And he's got goggles on and gloves. And it's like, I got bored today, so I put a hazmat suit on and went around chalking big red X's on random people's driveways. I saw that, man. I about almost peed myself laughing. It's like, that is genius. That is utterly genius. Oh, man. Another meme I cannot do credit to is you see an obvious Biden supporter has the Build Back Better bumper sticker on the back of her car. What does she have? She has the gas pump nozzle plugged into her car with the bag on it that says sorry, out of service, and she's standing there wearing a mask. Holy crap. I could not do it justice, man. These people are just stupid. Unbelievably stupid, but yet based in nothing but emotionality. Speaking of such a thing, Orange is walking on cardboard. Just so we're clear here, folks, men have a penis, women have a vagina. Switching one for the other will never make you the other. Your original sex genes will always tell you the truth, or always tell the truth. And here's the thing is you have this kind of like this meme that was floating around for a little while, and it says fight, period, bigotry, period, box. 98% of straight men are unwilling to date trans women because of hatred. And there's this kind of picture of a, generic, almost looking girl kind of standing there holding her, hugging her knees like, oh, life is so scrappy. I got bad news for you, dude. If you whack off your wang and say that you're a girl now, you're not a girl, okay? That's the reason why most dudes are like, yeah, I'm not feeling it, man. Sorry. Not gonna do that. Speaking of more liberal idiocy, that's pretty much looking like it's got the short leash on it. Delaware in the room. 2 reasons for the ads for the woke leftists for the CIA and the military. 1, they're giving the woke leftists opportunity to serve the motherland. 2, with recent deficits pressure Congress for draft. Okay, I got really bad news for you. Most of those guys that registered for the draft probably didn't register. Like that whole thing about like, oh yeah, you got to register for the draft, or you might not get like, federal loans and whatnot, and you got to get this other stuff. Tyrone in the hood is probably not going to register for the draft because he ain't applying at any colleges anytime soon. He doesn't care if there's a student loan out there for him because mostly he's made the fast money working the corner with all his homies, for the Bloods, the Crips, and what have you, Big Gorilla Family, all the rest of that good stuff, Black Gorilla Family, all those guys basically playing, Cowboys and Indians in the hood. They're making the quick buck, and they really, truly do not ascribe themselves to going and fighting overseas for El Hueto. Biden, what's I don't get that last one there, Patriot Fever. Don't mean Biden. What's in Gatto? Why? It's like what's a gibberish? I don't know what that means. Delaware also says in the room, guy heard him got tired of the mask restrictions to see his mate in the hospital. Put on a Tyvek suit he got from a buddy who works as a specialist removal. Walked right through the checkpoints, no delay. Well, that's the other thing too. It's like the classic way to go through any checkpoint is you're the guy that has the walkie-talkie, you have the goggles on, you have a mask on, you have a clipboard, and you're walking through going, yeah, I'm going to check in zone 3. Zone 3 is going to be going through right now, blah, blah, blah. Even if the microphone is going to like zip zero nada and it's a dead battery, if you're doing that, walking through, what? I respond? And you're pretending to hear. I got to go through, man. I got to go through. There's a serious problem in zone 3. And they're like, zone 3? What the hell is zone 3? It's like, get out of my way, man. It's important. I got to get back in there. Mumble, what's an engine Biden? Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay. Patriot Fever. My loan getting forgiven, so does my selective service. Yeah, well, that would be one that they probably could dangle over their heads. It's like, hey, if you serve under the draft, we'll make your student loan go away. Well, that's the other thing too. I mean, student loans they're just bad juju in the first place because you're locking people in to get unnecessary schooling for unapplicable titles and accreditations. And I don't know where you would apply it other than maybe like social workers or like, some kind of government, goofball sitting in an office somewhere, fiddling paperwork and doing not a whole hell of a lot. Delaware also said, the beauty part is nobody approached him or bothered him. Everybody assumes guy in a biohazard suit is contaminated. You probably need to just have somebody come by him with like take a toothbrush, dip it into something red and do like some speckles on the front of it. It's like he's coughing up stuff. Oh man, the typhoid Mary approach. I love it. I don't know if you guys heard about this one or not, but supposedly the Supreme Court rules that, quote, community caretaking, end quote, exception for warrantless searches, seizures does not apply to homes. This one's posted up on the 17th, so just yesterday. Supreme Court held today that the so-called community caretaking exemption of the Fourth Amendment, which allows certain warrantless searches of vehicles, does not extend to the home. Earlier this year, Firearms Policy Coalition, the FPC, of which I'm a member, Firearms Policy Foundation, FPF, and the Independence Institute filed a brief in support of the petitioner authored by Joseph Greenlee, FPC Director of Constitutional Studies, that extensively detailed the history behind the Constitution's protection against home searches, arguing that, quote, American resistance to home invasions ultimately led to the American Revolution, end quote, and that, quote, extending the community caretaking exception to the home would undermine the constitutional text, the founders' intent, and centuries of tradition, end quote. The opinion in Caniglia versus Strom can be found at fpclegal.org, noting that the court previously, quote, recognized a few permissible invasions of the home and its curtilage, end quote. The court's unanimous opinion, authored by Justice Clarence Thomas, God, I love that man, vacated and remanded last year's opinion from the First Circuit, noting that the lower court went, quote, beyond anything this court has recognized, end quote, and that, quote, what is reasonable for vehicles is different than what is reasonable for homes. So, in concurring opinion, Justice Alito mentioned today's opinion does not address red flag laws that enable the police to seize guns pursuant to the court order to prevent the... Yeah, that's crap. I would use this to fight red flag laws. Red flag is going down. It is bad juju. I don't know if you guys heard about this one or not. Also pro-gun and exceedingly kick-ass. Idaho governor has signed the sanctuary state law. Oh, my stars and garters. Yes, indeed. Sanctuary state's wonderful things. Basically, a state says they won't enforce federal law. They can get away with it, which they can get away with. Doesn't mean the laws don't exist. It only means that everyone in the state is going to ignore them and pretend they don't exist. Kind of the same thing, really, but you can't pass legal challenge and the other can't. Problem is there aren't enough around. We need 50 sanctuary states, and we're never going to get that many. But Idaho Governor Brad Little has signed legislation aimed at thwarting a half dozen executive actions by President Joe. Hang on. I cannot say his name without saying it correctly. Joe. Okay, so President. Executive actions by President Joe Kaka to combat gun violence. Okay, all right, let's just stop that for just 1 second here. 467 people a year killed with AR-15s. How many people are killed with just, ice picks? Thousands. How many people are killed with hammers? Thousands. How many people are killed with baseball bats? Thousands. And there's how many AR-15s in the United States? Yeah. The new law came less than a week after shooting at an Eastern Idaho middle school, injuring 2 students and a custodian. So nobody even died. The Republican governor on Monday signed the measure prohibiting Idaho government entities from upholding Joe Kaka's executive actions announced in March. The measure passed the Idaho State and Senate with veto-proof majorities. It also carried an emergency notice, meaning it went into effect with his signature. The new law is retroactive to January 20, the day Joe Kaka was sworn in as president. It prevents all Idaho government entities from enforcing executive orders, federal laws, treaties, agency orders, and rules of the U.S. government involving firearms, firearm components, firearm accessories, and ammunition that conflict with the Idaho Constitution. Translation: you can build a machine gun in Idaho and tell the federal government... Had an itch there. That's right. You can tell them basically to go away and pound sand. Just like the weed smokers. This is what needs to have happen. It might be federal law, but the states aren't going to enforce it. Guess what? That means that there is no enforcement, because 90% of federal enforcement comes on the local level. Translation: just like the weed smokers, if you decriminalize it locally, That means the federal government can't say squat about it in your state. And if they try, potentially the enforcers get arrested. Good shiznit, man. Patriot Fever heard Illinois appellate judge found FOID courts to be in violation of the Second Amendment. Yes, Patriot Fever. I heard that as well. I've never really worried about Illinois because I've never lived there. But bad guys tend to think that, well, Chicago's just a great place to go to shoot them up. Bad guys really, truly don't care about gun laws. That's why they're bad guys. Red flag laws on the ropes. Once Second Amendment sanctuary state constitutional carry comes into fruition, the NFA should be next on the chopping block. Absolutely, man. I am a firm holder of protect your hearing. SAFE Act should be in place. There's no reason in the world why nobody shouldn't have a suppressor screwed on their weapon. As a matter of fact, it is considered impolite in France and in many other places in Europe to shoot a firearm without a suppressor on board. It's considered rude because it's loud. That's the other thing, too. So anytime you drop the volume level of a weapon, you make it safer for everybody. I've seen videos where they had 2 deer or 2 elk or something along those lines, but 2 ruminants, shall we say. So 2 ruminants in the field, right? Guy basically had like 338 or, some slapping Magnum with a can on it. So he lines up, basically zaps the first one. Of course, the first one just goes, eh. And the second one's like, Bob? What's wrong with Bob? Bob just fell over. And probably what it was is on his end, he heard bullet hit and like bang, but not like boom, like rolling, recoiling noise level, just make everybody go, what the heck? Where they know they're being hunted. Sounds like a distant shot, probably got a little bit of a sonic crack. Of course, they have the bullet going, and Bob falls down. Bob's on the ground, just kind of going, doing a funky chicken. The other animal just was like, what are you doing, dude? Okay, well, I'm going to continue eating. And literally, it was not stressed in the slightest. When most times you zap an animal, the rest of the herd's like, pew, like the Speedy Gonzalez cartoons. You're seeing dust trails as they've gone in every different direction. Let's see. Unfortunately, the farm is here in Illinois. Oh, dude. Patriot Fever says, sanctuary state, tops knives, buck knives. Too bad it's all in Idaho. That's all Idaho has. Well, no, Idaho's got more than just that, dude. It's an all right state. Unfortunately, the farm is here in Illinois. Yeah, that's the part that sucks. France also built the Eiffel Tower to hang the white flag from. Oh, wow. Freaking brutal. Oh, man. CLUS, low brass 22 and a suppressor. I wonder if it would sound louder than a twig breaking. Okay, now let's just look at that for 1 second. One of my tricks of the trade, and I've been doing this for freaking ever. 16, 18-inch 22 rifles. Most times I'm outside shooting them. I don't wear hearing protection, and that's threshold. They say literally that's probably a little too loud to shoot without hearing protection. But what it was is I was also at my friend's farm shooting it in like open areas. So it's like the sound would go out and take a while to reverberate back. It wasn't like I was basically shooting with like big walls on both sides of me and like an inside range and I was shooting without ears on. That's just stupid. Any weapon will just, rattle your brain if you do that. But I was outside banging away with 22 long rifle in open areas in a rifle situation, not that loud. And also messing around with like CB caps and, all those, the CB shorts. I mean, those things are just like, they're actually out of an 18-inch or a 22-inch or, a longer barrel 22 long rifle. They're actually really quiet because mostly the biggest thing you got to worry about is to make any weapon louder. It's not weapon firing. It's the powder coming out of the barrel and continuing to burn. That's the noise. Not so much the inside where it's burning and most of it's been expended. It's the powder coming out and then burning. That's the bang. Rocky Veteran made a 22 almost soundless with a suppressor and some sonic. Oh, yeah, they're almost dead. It's just like you almost have like basically just like, it's like a hand clap. I've heard it described in some instances where you have like pistol caliber carbines being fired with a very large suppressor. Basically sounds like a truck releasing air brakes, just like, just like a hiss. The dwell time. Yes, exactly there, Delano Rosie. Interesting, good knowledge. But yes, longer barrel 22s and subsonic ammo, or like the CB rounds, like the gallery loads. Oh, they're insanely quiet. I mean, it sounds like a big air rifle. They're just really, really not noisy at all. On the other side of the occasions, 22 long rifles that are hot rods, like Stingers. Stingers are actually kind of loud. Of course, you're also talking like, a fairly light bullet zipping along about 16, almost 1,700 feet per second. Yeah, it's not a quiet load, okay? My assault bow is very quiet. Okay, well, my assault violin is exceedingly noisy because I don't play well. So let's see. So anyway, that Idaho guy basically is kicking things great now. Another sanctuary state. This is exceedingly kick-ass. I cannot begin to do this one justice, and it's just awesome to hear about. I don't know if you guys heard about this one going back to the IDF, but I cannot do this one justice. This one tickled me to no small extreme, okay? We're talking about something that literally cracked me up, okay? The Associated Press is lamenting the loss of its Gaza bureau, which is shared in the office space with the terrorist organization Hamas. It was in, hang on a second, they tell me which building it was. Hang on a second here. Oh man, I've heard that there was they've said the name of the bill. It's like Al Ghazouи or hairball kind of a thing. But the Associated Press, this is coming from DailyWire.com. The Associated Press is lamenting the loss of its Gaza bureau, which was housed in a high-rise building in Gaza City, which was destroyed by an Israeli airstrike on Saturday. Now here's the part that they don't like to talk about in the leftard media. The AP noted that all of its employees and freelancers were able to evacuate the building safely thanks to the Israeli military calling ahead to warn them of the strike, as it does when targeting civilian buildings. Now, there's a thinking behind this by the IDF. They refer to this as the roof knock policy. What they will do is they will say, look, you guys are maintaining operations in this building. The building is now, it's gone, okay? You may as well just consider it sacrificed. Get your asses out of there. We'll let you know when to get out of the building. When they decide to take the building down, they drop a non-lethal explosive charge on top of the building to let them know, boom, we mean business. You got 90 seconds to get out of here, then we're dropping the thing to the ground. If you still stay in it, you are a moron. Same thing with this building, and it's gone. I mean, it is literally gone. Surgical strike. I actually watched the video of them doing it. They hit one side, they hit the other side, and they said, okay, building's coming down. And literally when they hit that, 2 sections of it dropped, exposing the center section. Then they lit that thing up, and it just dropped. Controlled demolition into the ground. Looked like they were dropping a house of cards. Perfect demolition. Hurt nobody else, supposedly. But, of course, Hamas will be going, oh, yeah, so much women and children killed and murdered. All these horrible Jews. Oh. Well, okay. But anyway, the reason Israel targets the civilian buildings is because Hamas and the Palestinian authorities hide intelligence operations, weapons, and other important assets in these buildings so it can claim victimhood when they're destroyed. That's what's happening now, as the AP and other media outlets, including Qatari-run Al Jazeera TV, have become shields for the terrorist regime. No longer. When Julian Pace decried the loss of the AP building, Yarden Golan, the former chief of staff to Israel's ambassador to the U.S., told her she, quote, must know better than this, end quote. Quote, your colleagues there know exactly who operated from this building and why they decided to work there. Using AP as a human shield, ignoring it doesn't serve you, end quote, Golan said. Never piss off a military Jew guy. He'll tell you exactly how it is, why it is, and why you're a fool for stating the complete total obvious. They just need to rip. They'll rip you a new a-hole. There's no other way around it. Seal US in the room says they sell 22 pellet guns with silencers built in. One of those can shoot at night with red tinted light. Rats get lit up. They don't know what's in the spotlight. Yeah, dude, the suppressed air rifles are exceedingly quiet if you get the ones that are not like ridiculously high velocity. If you get a 22 air rifle that's subsonic, yeah, it's pretty quiet. Hearing protection Hearing protection, assault violin, and accordion. Brilliant. Donna Rosie, wonder if setting off a bit of tenderite in the roof would get them to get a day off of work. No, the Jews basically they set off, like a small charge, boom, on the roof, and literally the building rings. I mean, I've seen the strikes. It's like, boom, the whole building, like dust is blowing off and everything. Like, they mean business, because right afterwards, they're going to take it out. Your building is default going down. Don't stay in the building, because you're going to become part of it. So let's see. In its article about the airstrike, AP reported that, quote, the Israel military said it targeted the building because it contained assets of Hamas intelligence agencies, which it said it was using as media offices as human shields. The AP added it did not provide evidence for the claims. No, okay, the AP won't, because the AP is like ingratiated to the bad guys. This is a tactic strategically used to cast doubt on Israel's reasoning to imply that the AP itself may have been the target of the Israel military. No, they were not. If they wanted the AP dead, the Israel military would have just wiped them out easily without a moment's notice, and it would have been done, okay? The IDF is not a bunch of fools. Trust me in this regard. The Mossad, the IDF, and all those guys are badasses and very effective because they have to be. They have no choice in the matter. They need to win. Many others have shown outrage towards the airstrike. Yeah, I'm sure they have. But none have disputed Hamas's use of the building. So, what can we take from this? The bad guys are using the building. The stupid liberal news hacks are hanging out with them. And oh yeah, the guys on the other side are like, enough of this crap. And of course, then they're at fault? Please. As one Twitter conservative observed, it looked like the idea here was Hamas should be able to use the media orgs as shields or deal with those orgs knowingly to make it with Hamas without consequences. Exactly. AP President and CEO Gary Pruitt released a statement regarding the airstrike. Oh, folks. Hang on a second here. I got to get the right sound effect here. I've got to get the right sound effect. Give me 1 second here. Okay, here we go. I'm now queued up and ready for this. We are shocked and horrified the Israeli military would target and destroy the building housing AP's bureau and other news organizations in Gaza. They have long known the location of our bureau, and new journalists were there. We received that the warning would be hit. No kidding, jackass. We're seeking information from the Israeli government and are engaged with the U.S. State Department to try to learn more. No, you knew everything that you needed to know when they said, dude, we're going to basically take the building out because it's surrounded by a-holes, okay? Get out of the building. If you don't get out of the building, you are going to be default blasted. This is incredibly disturbing. Oh, no. This is an incredibly disturbing development. Hang on a second, folks. Okay. I think I'm past the moment of, I think I'm okay. I think I can hold out here for a moment. I'm reading bad liberal just pap, but oh, okay. We narrowly avoided a terrible loss of life. A dozen AP journalists and freelancers were inside the building, and thankfully were able to evacuate them in time. You got a phone call from the Israeli military to say, get out of the building. If they wanted you dead, you'd be dead. The world will know less about what's happening in Gaza because of what happened today. Yeah, I mean, no. If they wanted you dead, you would be dead, okay? There's no other way around it. You are a fool for putting yourself in those situations where you would tend to think that you're going to be perfectly safe hanging out with the bad guys. Mr. Stupid Liberal News Guy, you are a moron. The AP is saying through its statement and reporting that either Israel targeted the building for reasons unrelated to Hamas, or that its own reporters and employees were unaware that it shared office space with a terrorist organization. Neither is a good look for a news outlet. Ugh. They didn't know they were hanging out with bad guys. Just had to get in that last one. Holy crap. Hamas needs to reconsider the name of the organization. Every time it says Hamas, I think of the world's ham ass. Well, what about Muhammad. He's got ham in it. Supposedly they don't eat ham. He's got his name, Ham. But they just call him Pork Ham Guy. It's, whatever. Picking on the Jews is not a good way to do things. Now, the other thing, too, is I've also heard it proffered or stated, or somebody was making note on, like, one of the late night shows I was listening to. It's like the Hamas organization, Palestinians, every 4 years or so, they kind of roll low on cash. So what they do is they jack with the Jews. And then they get, like, the UAE and the Saudis and a whole bunch of other, sympathetic Arab guys to go, oh, here's some money. We'll support you to stop, the infidels from bothering you so much. We know that you're really trying to make sure that, there is no Jews around, and drive them into the ocean, get the land back and what have you. Let's put this in perspective here, okay? The Jews have a homeland of 60 miles wide by like 130, 140 miles long? It's not like they have a whole hell of a lot of land in that area. As a matter of fact, they've given up the Golan Heights. They've given up the Gaza. They've given up so much territory to try to appease these assholes that truly there is no making them happy other than the Jews simply just pulling up stakes and leaving. Now, let me add another little stinger to that one. The area in the Gaza that was given to them was agricultural rich. It was green. It literally was growing stuff and able to support not only itself, but a good chunk of Israel with fresh fruits, vegetables, all these rest of these things. The Jews are masters of turning the desert into a green, forested area of just wondrous things. They're just masters at it. I don't know how they manage to make that thing work, but they do. But literally what happened then is Hamas and all these Palestinian guys dug up the pipes that were being used for the agriculture and turned them into rockets to ship and shoot at the Jews. Some sick assholes, man. They really, truly are. Anybody that says that, only the Jews want to fight and only the Jews want to... No, most of the time what it is there just happen to be the situation of, the Hamas, the guys running the Palestinian nation. That's the other thing, too, is also most people don't understand there is no distinctly culture known as a Palestinian. They are Egyptians. They are Jordanians. They're Jews. No, but they are Arabs who got booted out of their own countries because either they were troublemakers, the kings got tired of their crap, or some despot said, you know what? That village is in the way. Just ship those guys down and let them deal with the Jews. So there is no native Palestinian that is in Palestine. There is no country that's ever been known as Palestine. It is an area that's been set up to have something to stick to the Israelis to say, this is our land. You took our land from us. Dude, do the math, okay? Over 3,200, if not closer to 6,000 years, the Jews were from that place. God's chosen people. Hello? I mean, I'm not going to get into the whole pissing match about who owns what and who needs to have this, but there's a whole hell of a lot of area down there, and they don't need to take over that little fly spit area of what's known as Israel and its outer areas. There ain't that much Israel to it, okay? Truly, there really isn't. And every time these guys create problems and the Jews smack their ass, they then go, okay, all right, we've had enough. And that's where the Palestinians are at, and Hamas is at right now, is the Jews are tired of playing with them. They're really, truly tired of playing with them. But right now, Hamas is right on the ragged edge of getting its ass handed to it and being removed from the planet as a fighting force. The Jews are tired of jacking with them. So that's why they're now screaming to the UN about, all these terrorist attacks by the Israelis. I'm sorry, did the Israelis send 1,500 rockets into your populated areas? I don't think they did. I think they set off the Iron Dome to stop the incoming rounds. Yeah, these guys in Palestine really have asked for a good ass kicking, and they're getting it, and they're not liking it. So anytime you mess with the Jews and you mess with the IDF and you mess with all the intelligence ability of the Jews, you're not going to win, man, because these guys have to be victorious. There's no other way around it, okay? You mess with them, they're going to hand you your ass. Hi. It's a Milo. This is the new guy. It's the new guy. Yes. Look at the camera. Hi? No? Okay. Let go of my shirt. He's a little annoying thing. AOC's Israel shouldn't defend itself because they are more qualified. That's like saying I don't want to get into the boxing ring with like a pro boxer and punch him in the nuts and see what happens. AOC's an idiot anyway. I mean, there's no reason in the world why anybody should ever listen to this fool. But anyway, safe to say that the Hamas guys really, truly outreached, and they pretty much got their dicks handed to them because they messed with the wrong people. All right, so let's move on to something else. I could say like a palate cleanser. Let me take a look at something real quick here. Is this going to be an operation they're in? Oh yeah, it could be. It could be an operation they're in of. That's right. It's another operational equivalency of dudes eating weird stuff again. I did a video earlier, but I'll do a quick tasting right here. We're looking now at the Pringles Wavy Moa Burger. And what it is actually kind of one of those humorous things, in the Halo universe, there is the Moa, which is a flightless bird that they use for Moa nuggets, Murrah strips, and Moa burgers. Now, I've been eating these, and I've been trying to see if I can get my head around the fact that they're trying to say it is a hamburger. And they're being really obvious here, like 4 hamburger patties, obviously, copious utilization of, any Halo branding and what have you. And they try to say it tastes like a hamburger. Does it really taste like a hamburger? Well, I've eaten about half the can, okay? I have yet to hit hamburger, but let me give it a go. And I really don't commend this to you. I bought 2 cans, and they're kind of eh. Onion. Oh, wait a minute. No. I actually did get a little beefy thing on that one. Most of the time I've been trying these, I've been getting onion, ketchup, cheese. Really not like a lot of like a meaty umami kind of thing going on. Safe to say it ain't got, okay? It just ain't got. But what I could do is I could tweak it up, twist it up, and kind of make it just a little bit different. So let's just throw a little Vegemite on here. Just a little Vegemite. Guess it kind of helped a little bit, but it's still really tailed back. And these are limited time, so they're making a big deal about, you gotta try these. They're selling on eBay for some ridiculous price. Not the best. Donna Rosie says, I can hand AOC a phony driver's license back when she was a bartender. She still served me. Milo's a little character in the making. No, he's quite a big character, and he's well established. Trust me on that one. Let's do a quick tasting here on something other than Ersatz, Halo potato chips. I've been eating these, the Jack Link beef sausages. They're I've had better ones. I think the Stubbs barbecue one are actually better than that. Did actually try this guy here. Sent some of these down to one of my friends in Australia, and these are the cracked pepper and garlic. Basically, they're supposed to be beef steak. They're like a thicker piece of jerky, and mostly what I'm getting from these is not the garlic at all. I am getting like so much black pepper that it just overwhelms. Just give me 1 second here. Yeah. If there's any garlic going on there, man, it is like through the floor. It is mostly just a Jack Link's jerky with just a hellacious amount of black pepper pressed into it, and inundated into the zeitgeist of the marinade or whatever they put it in. It's kind of more just pepper than anything. That's why I go back to my old alma mater. It's just simply standard old Walmart. I would really like to find a Trapper. I think it's Old Trapper or something. It's a much better jerky than this. But the Walmart stuff, what is it? Like it's like a 10-ounce bag of the stuff for like $10. So, you basically get your money's worth out of that one for a little while. It's okay. I've had better. Donna Rose in the room says, beauty part of it is Palestine will beg the UN blue hats who don't want to be involved. And the U.S. is no longer the world's policeman, thereby leaving Israel to do as they please with Palestine. Lighting their asses up with a good alacrity. Ketro the Rye Bread. Hey, dude, and chat. What's going on, Brood? Ketro the Rye Bread. Been a while since I've seen you. Appreciate you coming by and hanging out with us tonight. Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking pretty much it's going to be a situation where Hamas is just like, no mas, no mas. Hamas is like, no mas, no mas. Yeah, we're done. It's going to be a situation where I think the Israelis are just done with it. We're not playing games with the UA holes anymore. We are finito. Done. No mas. Not playing. Just done with it. I think what they're going to do here is they're pretty much going to render Hamas into just an irrelevant fighting force. The Palestinians are going to really regret jacking with the Jews as much as they have. And I think that if they were smart, what they would do is, I think the Jews, being good Jews, would basically bring out the lawyers and say, look, we're going to court. We're suing you for all of our damages. And they would ask the Palestinians to make restitution on any damage that they did on any Israeli property. Because if you look at it for what it is, the Israelis didn't start sending missiles over to the Pallies. The Pallies started this crap. And they did it because, they needed money. Well, where did they get the $200 million to buy 1,500 missiles? Oh, that's right. Joe Kaka sent them the cash that Trump had locked down. Right. And then the other side of it, too, is also the Iranians are doing a proxy war. Why isn't anybody going, hey, it's not only the Palestinians, it's the Iranians, the Ayatollahs, and all those, mufti guys. Why don't we go and basically make their lives suck? That's right. Trump did when he had all his sanctions in place. It is a puppet war to say that it is only the Palestinians. Ugh. Let's see. Del Rose here. What if there will come a time when the troops can either vote for samples? Oh, no. Vote for samplers and future MREs, or piece it together MRE kits so you can have what you want instead of pre-made. Well, I'll put this in perspective. This is kind of a point of humor. The shelf-stable MRE pizza. I shipped some of those guys down to my friend in Australia. Now, he's one of these iron stomach gut grenade guys who will eat anything. And MREs or crap, canned food or, any of that survivalist type stuff is like of his most obviously favorite domain. He tried the shelf-stable pizza and he said, mate, I got to tell you, it sucks. It's better with hot sauce, but it sucks. And I was like, dude, there's no other way to express it other than simply saying that the shelf-stable pizza in the MREs are horrendous. They are absolutely horrible. As a matter of fact, I would really wish that I had Can't Crap crackers, some, a packet of squeezed cheese, and a packet of tomato sauce, and I would consider that a better form of quote-unquote pizza than that shelf-stable crap. Bridgeford Foods, yuck. There's really been no opportunity of any of the stuff that I've ever tried of any of the MRE componentry made by Bridgeford that I was just like, I'll just, out of the park, amazing, yeah, that's the best thing ever. I truly would have to tell you, most of the opportunities I've had with the Bridgeford stuff sucks. And I don't know who's blowing who or who's doing what, but somebody has got to have an inside line on some politician for them to be foisting that crap on our fighting guys and women to go, yeah, this is great here. Yum, yum, yum. No, it's not. Prosta Primavera blows. Well, you can ask anybody in the service. Your very, very, very best friend is a bottle of Tabasco. And truthfully, you will trade crap that you don't like. And most of the modern entrees, I am not impressed. It's like all kinds of, oh yeah, let's put this Latino food in here, or let's put this other stuff in there. Give this thing a vegetarian option. Dude, nobody wants to go into combat, eat vegan food, okay? They want meat. They want meat. They want meat that's good. They don't want, total crappy, horrible, icky, just bad execution, just gack, okay? You could throw a package of somebody with pasta in it and tomato sauce. Oh, okay, that's really fulfilling. No, it's really not. Oh, we've had TVP to it, so, it's vegan. Who goes into combat saying, I want to have vegan food? No, that's like the kind of stuff you do with the humanitarian food, okay? The humanitarian stuff is intended to be vegan and non-distressing to anybody that wants to keep halal or, any of those other kind of things. That's why they make them vegan. Well, most of your guys in combat, they want meat, man. They want hamburgers, or they want a hot dog, or they want something decent. They don't want to basically have pasta primavera, which is just horrible execution on with something that pretty much is like restaurant food. The jerky, hot sauce, brown goo with crackers and cream cheese for the win. Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. As a matter of fact, you see most of your guys when they're writing home to their parents and everybody, they're like, dude, send me jerky, okay? Send me jerky, even bad jerky. Send me jerky. They want to have something that's, an alternative to what they have to deal with, because most of the stuff they're dealing with is really not that great. Most of your MREs really are not the best stuff to have had. And the menu options that have come up recently, they're really not that great. I mean, truthfully, I'm really and truly not that impressed with the menu options. I mean, obviously, when I was in the Marine Corps, we had obviously the sea rations being cleaned out, and we had the brown MREs starting up in the early 80s and becoming, foremost in the time that I was in. I went in 1986, 86 to 90. And those guys that was it. I mean, you basically had the brown packages. The only one that I can tell you generically, everybody was just like, oh crap, not that, was tuna with noodles. But I'll tell you what, man, if you're starving, you get that bottle of hot sauce, you basically turn that thing red. Everything's better with a gallon of hot sauce on it. If you're hungry enough, you will eat it. Baby bottle of booze next to the bottles of hot sauce. Oh, that was the other one too. It's just any kind of, anybody will tell you coffee. Coffee is like, everybody runs on coffee. Basically if you're doing like the Civil War trick, we basically have like a pinch in your cheek, and you basically, you're like sucking on the roasted coffee beans, or you're basically like chewing on them, and just kind of like let the saliva break it down. Any of that stuff is just like, that is like combat crack. Everybody will tell you that stuff. Donna Rosie says try the the vegetarian lasagna MRE. He was pooting out farts that smelled like 3-year rotten veggies. Well, did you happen to look at the date on the package? It might have been 3 years. Oh, wow. Oh, man. But yeah, I mean, most of the modern menu options of MREs, I'm really, really not impressed. As a matter of fact, I would tend to think you could probably do better on a lot of those guys just shipping them over a bunch of jerky and a bunch of the freeze-dried, camping rations, or, like the Mountain House type stuff. That stuff's easy. Basically get a cup of hot water, dump it in there, let it sit for 5-10 minutes. And those are actually not bad. I know the sodium's through the roof, but it's not bad. And it's obviously a change of pace that really doesn't weigh a ton. So shipping stuff over like that would be not so terrible bad. Canned goods, canned goods are a mixed bag. Most of the time, you try to ship stuff overseas for anything like that. It's what kind of terror does the packaging get before the military guys get it? But any packages from home, those guys are happy to get it. Donna Rosie, British, Russian, Ukrainian MREs still use the canned stuff. It seems like they have the better stuff. Oh man, Tashanka, absolutely. The Russian tin beef, their pates. Now you got to be really careful with the pates, because the Russians are really good about like brain pate, and I that's one of those areas of animal I don't go to. I don't do brain, I do not do intestine, and I do not do tripe. That's just me. I'll do liver, I'll do kidney maybe, but there's some stuff that I will not eat on the animal, and brain and intestines, right out, right out. That's just not me, man. And I have done a tasting that I did of a can of tripe, and literally the taste and the smell was exactly barnyard, to the point where it was just like, no, I'm not eating something that basically tastes like stewed crap. And that's literally what it smelled and tasted like. Horrible. Absolutely horrible. It probably should have been washed 3 or 4 more times before they ever tried to cook the stuff. Now, if you're starving, yeah, I'm sure it's going to be the best thing on the planet. I wasn't starving, man. I didn't need to force myself to eat that dreck. Yuck. Just yuck. All right, so coming up on a 10:30 time period, I'm going to appreciate you guys' kind attention. I'm still waiting. I think I got like 3 more days. I think I'm back on Thursday, or 2 more days. So I might have 2 more days left before I come back on Facebook for the Dude Jerky. Obviously, you guys find me here on the 80s Podcast channel. Find me on Twitter as 80SPCC. I really don't do a whole hell of a lot there, but I do have my Gab. That's right. So it would be gab.com/Dude Jerky 80S. You can find me there. And I tend to be using that quite a bit more as like more of a storage area. But when I find links and stuff, I'll be putting it in both places because, well, obviously Facebook can block me. Gab doesn't care. And I can put anything I want in that biatch, and it's all me. Let's see. Scrolling. Patriot Fever says loves him some head cheese with eggs and toast. Souse loaf. Not in the brains, man. Not in the brains. But I appreciate your kind attention. You guys hanging out with me tonight. Like I usually say, eat your Cape Tendering is always, you love it. And you guys hung out with me, and you get the gold star for attendance, and I appreciate your kind attentions. I'm going to break up with this one. Eat good Cape Tendering is always, you know it. You love it. Eat the Saints Trust so you guys don't have to. Good stuff like that there. Catch you guys, and have a good week. See you guys.